At the very least, like, it's great to see that Oscar is just, like, alive and well. You know, some people are like, well, why didn't Oscar get destroyed too? But, like, if you noticed, he had, like, that bubble shield basically protecting him. The same one that Ozpin used against Salem, Cinder, used against Cinder in Volume 3, the same one that Oscar used to protect him from falling all the way from Atlas out of the sky. That is essentially what protected him from that massive, like, close quarters, like, nuclear blast. So here's the thing about Ozpin's cane. This is so freaking cool, right? You know, like how he says, like, it stores kinetic energy, and he's accumulated it over thousands of years, right? Millennia.
He entrusted me with this, hence the massive amount of power he had stored up in it. Kinetic energy that he spent lifetime after lifetime accumulating in the cane he built.
So this is how I think his cane would work. Let's just say this is the cane, and the way that it stores kinetic energy is like passively. Like Ozpin walking with his cane, like every time it hits the ground, that's storing up kinetic energy. Every time he's tapping it on his desk, that's storing kinetic energy. Every time he thuds someone on the head for not paying attention in class, that's kinetic energy he's storing over thousands of years. That would be such a dope-ass Ruby Chibi skit, to be honest. You know, him fighting with it, that stores up the kinetic energy as well. So, like, everything that he's done with this thing over thousands of years has just stored up that energy to where he unleashed it this chapter. And I just think that'd be super cool if that was the case. You know, because it's like, how else would you store this energy? It's a cane. It's multifaceted. It has a lot of purposes. Whether you're just walking around, or whether it's your weapon that you fight with, or, you know, whether you need it to reach a high point on, like, the cabinets of Tai Yang's house because his cabinets are so goddamn high for no goddamn reason. I don't know. I just think that would be super cool of, like, a way to explain the science and how it works. And that would be super cool if that's actually how it happens. Thousands of years of just walking remnant. Imagine that. Salvador, thank you for the super chat as well. I did some math. One nuke is 1 trillion jolts. One step is 2.5 jolts. It would take 400 billion steps to equate one nuke. Do you think 4 billion steps is possible in, like, thousands of years of existing? What if you just walked every day? And this is not just walking too. Like, this is like kinetic energy. This is like tapping, hitting, walking, like anything that generates energy. I mean, yeah, also it wasn't an actual nuke, but I guess we're trying to make the closest comparison. That was essentially like a nuclear blast that he did there. Hold on a second. You know what? I'm about to pull out some quick maths.
You will gather in the ballroom tonight.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's only been one day. You've been I'm sure that after a night of thwarting attempted robbery, you probably just want to go home and take a nap. But I was hoping that maybe we could have a chance to talk. Thank you for your time, Ms. Belladonna. And remember to do your very best. Unfortunately, we determined that the concentration of Grim, if he finds your skills, to be unsatisfactory.
If I was one of your men, I'd shoot myself.
While I wouldn't condone his behavior, retaliating like you did...
I still don't understand. You said I was next in line to receive the Maiden's power. What do you mean by that?
The Maidens have existed for thousands of years. But much like in nature, the seasons change. No two summers are alike. When a maiden dies, her power leaves her body and seeks out a new host, ensuring that the seasons are never lost and that no individual can hold on to the power forever.
So, how does the power choose?
Through a series of stupid and convoluted rules.
Crow.
Hey, don't get mad 'cause I'm right.
At first, the only thing that was certain was that the powers were specifically passed on to young women. But as time went on, it was discovered that the selection process was much more intimate.
Intimate?
As we understand it now, when a maiden dies, the one who is in her final thoughts is the first candidate to inherit her power.
Unless it's a dude or some old hag. Then the power goes to someone random, and our jobs get a lot harder.
Why tell me all of this now? Why not wait until I've graduated?
Honestly, we've run out of time. I don't know if you've noticed, but things are getting a lot scarier out in the world. Tensions are high. The Grim are growing stronger, more prevalent. And it's not gonna be much longer before this peace we've all been enjoying so much goes out the window.
You're not talking about war.
Not a war between nations.
We can fill you in on the details once we know you're with us. For now, all you need to know is that one of the maidens was attacked. And for the first time in history, part of her power was stolen.
She was right about you. Such arrogance.
I'm supposed to tell you I'd like my cane back?
It's good to see you again, Oz.
After that, we can move on to step 2.
What's step 2?
Getting you 4 into fighting shape. You can only fight so long as you have crescent rows, but you're still lacking in hand-to-hand combat.
Well, yeah.
Mr. Ark, I'm glad to hear you've improved, but sorry to say you've yet to unlock your semblance. And though Oscar can give me temporary control, he'll need to strengthen his body and his aura. Wait, what? He'll inherit my muscle memory in time, but practice will expedite the process.
But if Crow's out looking for huntsmen, then who's going to teach us?
Well, I believe I was the headmaster of Beacon Academy. We have approximately 1 month before classes resume at Haven. If Salem were to plan an attack, it would make sense that it occur prior to students' return. It's not much time, but it's better than nothing. Just don't expect me to go easy on you. Huh? You've got to be kidding me.
You're really getting better, huh?
I always knew that I wanted to be more than a farmhand, but this? Who would ask for this?
We all went to Beacon because we wanted to help people.
I too possess a certain magical power. Using this power, I was able to gift the Bronwyn twins the ability to see more, to move freely and be unburdened by their natural bodies. May I? Granting this power to them was no trivial task, and I can assure you it was not done frivolously. As helpful as that might be, unfortunately it is not that simple. There is no shame or disgrace in abstaining. The road ahead is undoubtedly filled with hardships and peril. However, it has been far too long since you have all been together. No, my cane is not a relic. While I admit it still has a few more tricks up its sleeve. Not quite.
Oscar!
I told you, no!
Please, let me take over. I can handle it.
I'm sorry.
What? Hopefully the first option will suffice.
Glad to see you're feeling better.
Likewise. And while I'm sure we could all use more time to recover, I'm afraid time is of the essence.
Right. As long as that thing's out in the open, its power could fall into the wrong hands.
Speaking of, what does it do, exactly? Crow never really told us.
Of course.
If humanity were ever to stand a chance of being united, one thing was clear.
He had to destroy Salem.
Knowing he could never rid the world of her through any mortal means, Ozma sought out the power of the relics. Armed with my knowledge, he believed he could fulfill his promise to the God of Light.
I'm just going to be another one of his lives, aren't I?
Of course not. You're your own person.
Don't lie to him, Ruby. We're better than that.
What did you have in mind?
The huntsman around you could be an invaluable resource.
And whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Still just me.
It was smart of you not to bring the lamp down here. I wouldn't trust me either, right now.
Trust is what I'm hoping to fix.
Do you intend to fight me?
No. That's exactly what she wants. I guess it's because of Oz, but holding it helps calm me down when I'm afraid.
You still think I'm afraid?
But fear itself isn't worthy of concern. It is who we become while in its clutches. You're gaining control of my remaining magic, recollecting my longest-held memories, which means our two souls are still on the inevitable path to becoming one.
But I don't want that.
Neither do I.
No more Gretchens, boy.
Oscar! She'll just come after us.
Do it.
When we were tortured, he took it. So I wouldn't have to. He entrusted me with this, and the massive amount of power he had stored up in it. Kinetic energy that he spent lifetime after lifetime accumulating in the cane he built.
So, that's how you did that? Using all of the stored up power?
Not all, but most. We have to be careful with how we use the rest. He trusted my judgment.
I think you're wrong. Or like, whatever.
I was recently reminded of an old fairy tale. A young girl flees the consequences of a choice. I failed all of you. I should have trusted you with the truth, and should never have run the day you discovered it.
How much does the average human walk in their lifetime? This is the number I got. The average moderately active person takes about 7,500 steps a day. If you maintain that daily average up to 80 years of age, you can walk, you'll have walked 216,262,500 steps in your lifetime. Doing the math, the average person with the average stride living until 80 will walk the distance of around 110,000 miles. Now multiply that by a couple thousand years, and I think that number adds up. So if anyone was curious about the quantifications of the kinetic energy that Ozpin spent walking with his cane, and every time it taps the ground, what's that, 2.5 jolts? 4 billion? Easy clap, boys. Like, Ozpin's like, yo, I freaking eat that shit for breakfast. And I will walk 1 billion miles and okay, YouTube, please don't copyright strike, demonetize, DMCA, claim my video, please. Oh, did that for you? Holy shit. I love how we both had the same thought process, Salvador. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, I did it for you. The average person will take 216 million steps in a lifetime, 80 years. That would have taken Ozma 1,851 lifetimes to get that much energy by walking alone. We cracked it! We cracked it, chat. We did it. Ozpin has okay, I'm saying it right. I'm calling it right now. Ozpin has lived at least 1,851 lifetimes if we can quantify the raw kinetic energy of his cane that turned into that nuclear blast to the real world equivalent of that energy in our world to sure up the numbers of the timeline of how long, because it's been millennia. That could be anything. That's at least a million. That's a million. That's at least 1,000 years. Holy shit. Oh, man, that's so good, dude. I really hope they thought that ahead. I really, really, really hope. Because, like, that lines up perfectly with how long Ozma has seemingly survived and existed. Give yourselves a round of applause, chat. Salvador 001, thank you for having me do a little bit of homework and coming up with these numbers. It's great that we both came up with it at the same time. That was awesome. Yeah, I just think it's really cool that we came up with those numbers. That's pretty accurate, I think.